Let's unpack this. We're diving deep into the no-code world today. Specifically, we're comparing two, well, pretty major platforms, Lovable and Hosting Our Horizons. The sources we have really lay out two tools with like completely different philosophies. So our mission here is to really distill the core differences, the strategic trade-offs between them.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, I think, is that the choice you make here, it's not just about features. It's almost like choosing a building philosophy right from the start.
Yeah.
The real question for you as the builder boils down to this.
hmm
Are you after, say, speed and that visual, yep, it looks right, kind of assurance for quick testing? Or are you aiming for, structural depth, more control, maybe for something more complex down the line?
Right. So let's start with hosting our horizons. The analogy that comes to mind is maybe like building with Lego blocks or maybe like a prefab home for apps. It's really designed to be approachable, right? Use that standard drag and drop interface you see everywhere. You see the app taking shape like instantly.
Exactly. And that visual simplicity, that's really key for getting something out there fast.
Hmm.
For prototyping, it handles simple commands. You type something like add a comment section, and it just sort of does it. It manages the technical backend stuff, APIs, databases, all that, so you don't have to worry. Perfect for beginners, really. Someone who just wants to test an idea without getting bogged down.
Okay, so hosting our horizons is speed, visual confirmation. Got it. Now let's pivot to Lovable. This one seems to trade that instant visual feedback for more direct control. The whole user experience is different. It's less drag and drop, more like you're giving instructions, like prompts, to a really smart assistant, typing things out.
That's the core philosophical shift, isn't it? Instead of clicking and dragging visual bits, you're describing the logic, how the app should function. You're telling an AI what to build. It forces you, the builder, to actually think through the workflow. How does data move? How do users log in? It feels a bit closer to traditional coding in that sense mentally. Beginners might find it, well, a bit abstract at first.
Right. Less visual hand-holding. So let's get into the power, the features, and yeah, the pricing, because the sources suggest they're miles apart here too. Lovable sounds, frankly, quite powerful. It can generate complex applications. It connects to GitHub, which is huge for serious development, version control, that sort of thing. And it can set up backends using tools like Sabbath. This definitely signals it's aimed at more serious builders, people needing custom setups.
Yeah, let's quickly touch on Sabbath. It's an open source backend service, handles user accounts, databases. Using something like that means you have more control, more ownership over your data outside of Lovable itself. But hang on, if Lovable expects you to understand app structure, maybe connect external backends, is it really fair to call it purely no code? For someone totally new to this, isn't it maybe more like less code?
That's a really critical point, and maybe the pricing reflects that expected knowledge level. Hosting or Horizons, for instance, looks built for predictability. That $19.99 a month starting price, it bundles a lot in hosting support, domain setup. The whole pitch seems to be to click publish, and boom, your app is live. Simple.
Yeah, contrast that with Lovable. Okay, it starts around $20 a month too, but that feels like just the entry ticket because it leans so heavily on AI generation, on custom processes for complex builds. You could see costs becoming variable, more usage, more prompts, potentially higher bills. So Lovable seems geared towards scaling complexity, even if the final cost isn't as fixed up front.
Okay, so boiling it all down, what's the strategic takeaway for someone listening? Hosting or Horizons? Sounds great for rapid validation. If you want a predictable cost, maybe you're less technical. Fun, easy, beginner-friendly. Lovable. Powerful, flexible, better if you have some technical understanding, maybe even coding know-how, and prioritize control and customization for something serious.
Exactly. It really hinges entirely on where you're coming from, your existing knowledge, and what you want to achieve. Are you okay trading that immediate visual feedback of drag and drop for the, let's say, deeper structural power you get from prompting an AI? That's the choice.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Since one tool, Lovable, kind of expects you to understand structure from the get-go, Resty, and the other, Hosting Your Horizons, offers that instant gratification, that speed. What's the real long-term trade-off? What are the consequences down the road if you prioritize just launching fast today, potentially sacrificing that deeper customization, that data ownership, which might be crucial for your app's future, say, 5 years from now, something